Oh boy, this video is going to be quite a difficult one to record. Yo, what's going on guys? My name is Toxplicity and welcome back to the Pokemon video. As you guys may be aware, if you're a longtime fan of the channel, I am a massive X and Y fan. They're some of my favorite games of all time. I love the Kalos region, I love the art style of the Pokemon, I love the overall feel of these games, definitely top 3 of all time for me. But I always felt like something was missing, and in this video, we're going to go over possibly why I felt that way. Due to the recent Pokemon leaks, I'm not sure how much of this video I can actually show on YouTube, but we're going to see how far we can push it. But there are a lot of ideas, a lot of the source code, a lot of the beta material that has been unveiled due to the recent Pokemon leaks, the Terra leaks that were recently done, the hacker, whatnot that released all this information to us. And the Kalos games or Generation 6, X and Y seem to have been impacted the most. Now we're going to go over some of the most significant changes or discarded ideas that were from these games, and I'm going to try not to cry myself to sleep tonight knowing these were out there. Okay, so we're going to start off with some information and some leaks that aren't really going to make you sad or make your blood boil. It's just going to be pointing back to Pokemon or characters that have some sort of significance to the game. So Furfrou was the very first Pokemon designed for Generation 6, and I could honestly see that. If someone made me sit down and they asked me to draw a Pokemon that would describe the Kalos region, I would probably draw a Furfrou or one of the starter Pokemon. I just think Furfrou has, significance to the region. It looks really cool, and it's a Pokemon that goes underappreciated in my opinion. Now, the next little leak that we got is about a character. So AZ, I've spoken about multiple times on this channel. I've spoken about the ultimate weapon, I've spoken about the Great War, and I've spoken about AZ's Floette. But the character profile for AZ is on screen right now for you guys, and this is the original character profile, and it kind of fits what he's like in game. But did you guys know that AZ was originally going to be the leader of Team Flare? I don't think this would have fit his character too much. I feel like Team Flare, with the orange suits and the kind of the tech that they had, were their own characters. I liked Lusander being the leader of Team Flare, but it was kind of interesting that they were going to go with AZ being the leader. But I kind of liked how he's kind of is a lone wolf character. He's kind of that dark, vibey character. I like the way that we had it. I think if he was the leader of Team Flare, he would have been as believable, but he could have been kind of a Giovanni character, that dark leader, which would have been really interesting. And the final one before we go into leaks that make me kind of sad is the Pokemon Village was originally planned to be a town entirely populated by Ditto disguised as human, which is very weird. It's kind of like the Pokey leaks, Pokey freaks type stuff we got with Typhlosion, and the stories that we got from the other side of the leaks, which I don't really want to talk about anymore. My brain is ruined by those. But you would have found Ditto that have transformed into versions of characters in the game, which would have been really cool. I actually wouldn't have minded this village coming to life. It would have been cool to kind of try and talk to people and then be Ditto, but yeah, something that was completely removed from the game. So now let's get into some of the other leaks that might make you upset or angry that we didn't get them. X and Y was originally meant to have a 4th mythical Pokemon. This code name was meant to be Tetao or Teto, and it was meant to be a steel electric type. I've tried to go through some of the files and some of the leaks that have been released online, and I couldn't find any sort of beta images of this Pokemon or designs of this Pokemon. I found a lot for other Pokemon that were in X and Y, but none so much for this, which is a bit interesting. I think this would have been a pretty cool Pokemon to have in the game, and it's kind of sad that it wasn't. So yeah, I don't know if it's a win or loss considering we don't know how cool this Pokemon could have looked, but I think some of the concept arts that people are throwing up on Reddit, which if you guys want to find, definitely go through Reddit and see all these leaks. It's pretty cool. It's definitely worth checking out. It could have been a really cool Pokemon, but we don't know too much about it, but its type and its code name. So getting into a leak that makes me very upset that we didn't have is X and Y were going to have a feature to create your own custom gyms. Players can create their own original gyms and share them online. Other players can attempt to conquer the gyms. Once a gym is conquered, the gym leader, which would be an NPC version of your player, can join the other player's gym. The gym leader can be placed as a member of their original gym as well. How insane is that? This would have been one of the coolest multiplayer mechanics ever added to a Pokemon game. I've done a TikTok on this. I've done a short on this, kind of going over some of the information that I found on this one, because I thought this one was probably the saddest to be discarded from the game. Now, the next one will make you just as sad because there was a lot of content removed, but this would have been such a big thing for the online community. And if they kept the X and Y servers and the 3DS servers, I'm pretty sure they're all shut down now, so you can't even access some of the friend code things and online on X and Y anymore. This would have been really cool to have running, because you could just keep creating custom gyms, keep challenging friends, keep challenging people online. It would have been like a battle frontier, and it would have been a cool mechanic just to keep, adding to different games. And this is something that I feel like Pokemon lacks. And Scarlet and Violet added the ability to play with your friends, but that mechanic is so buggy. I feel like if they added this to X and Y, it would have been so easy just to carry that over. But it's another thing that we didn't get. So let me know down below, what gym would you have had running? I think I would have had a Ghost and Dark type gym. Even though my favorite Pokemon aren't Ghost and Dark type, I just feel like it would be cool to have kind of a spooky gym like that. But definitely let me know what Pokemon or what gym you would have had running. And let's jump into this last leak, which I think hits me the most. So according to the internal documents for Southern Kalos, they cut 2 whole towns, 2 cities, 4 dungeons, and 8 total routes from the game. That is a lot of content. That's like a third of the Pokemon Kalos content that we had. That's a lot of things that they scrapped. Could you imagine how amazing this game would have been if we had 2 more cities, 4 more dungeons that you could have gone in to explore, and 8 whole routes with extra trainers, potential extra Pokemon that we could have fought, 2 more towns and cities to explore with possible extra storylines, possible extra side quests. I just feel like the game would have felt so much more complete than this. And, here's a concept map that they had. And man, this is just frustrating, because I love Kalos. I think Kalos is some of the coolest games that we've had. But if we just had a bit more of a complete game with a little bit more content, I would have had this maybe second or first on my list. It would be hard to knock off Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And if you guys want a video on Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because there's a ton of leaks from that as well, let me know down below. But that's a lot of content. There was also an island in this original map concept that would have been a battle frontier. Just extra multiplayer content, extra challenge for the player, more content we could have gone through to play the game, which is just insane that they took it out. I know that less is more sometimes, and the game may have felt way too chaotic and way too cluttered with extra cities, extra routes, extra dungeons, this and that, but it just would have been more to explore, would have been more to take in, would have been more to do. It would have added a different dimension to the game. It probably would have changed the game for a lot of people, because if you go and scroll through Twitter, you go and scroll through Reddit, it's the same opinion from a lot of people. X and Y just felt incomplete. X and Y felt meh. But this could have changed the ideas for a lot of people. You could have hid legendary Pokemon in these dungeons. You could have hid extra characters in these cities, in these towns. You could have had important trainer battles. You could have done so much with this content, and they decided just not to throw any of this in, which actually shocks me. Now, I know Scarlet and Violet was more of an open world game, but that was a huge game. Like, you could go through and play that for hours and hours. There was lots of places to explore, lots of places to get to. I know X and Y and Kalos wasn't an open world, but if they were to revisit Kalos in like the future, I know Pokemon Legends ZA is going to be based on the Kalos region-esque because we're going to be in Lumio City. I feel like they should just throw this whole game that they almost had. Do it after Generation 10. Do it, 10 years in the future. Just throw this whole game at us. Just do it, man. Please. I want to see a complete Kalos X and Y game with all of this content that we missed. I want to see it. It would make me happy. Hopefully that doesn't make you Pokemon fans too sad, but this is just all I can find right now that actually I want to include in a video. There's a whole bunch of other stuff out there. I'll throw it in the description below so you guys can scroll through other files and other posts by other creators out there on Twitter who are currently going through all these leaks. But I found Century is kind of compiling them in one place, which I'm kind of enjoying having just a single scroll. But if you click into some of the other profiles or that Centro is retweeting, you can see they're doing their own ideas and posting some more threads on their pages as well. But as a person that absolutely adores X and Y, I wish we got this more complete game. I wish we got more multiplayer functionality to play with friends. That would have been so much better than what we got, even though I do highly regard the games already. But let me know down below, what gym would you have had if you could have an online multiplayer gym with your friends? And also let me know what you think of these leaks. I'm going to be covering some more in upcoming weeks. My content is going to be all over the place while I react to some of these leaks that are coming out, but I'm going to try and post more of the what Reddit thinks of Pokemon Legends ZA in the upcoming weeks as well. And I'll also be jumping into some more NBA 2K25 once the season starts for basketball. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of rebuilds, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.